Number 6, Stephen Curry. Look, the odds according to BetMGM is 15-2 as a bettor. I think I would take that, considering this team had a blistering start to the season, starting off 16-1. They were the hottest team. Stephen Curry went a little bit cool. He's shooting his lowest three-point shooting percentage, second lowest, of his career at 39.7. So look, I'm sorry, 36.7. I think this team.
For Steph.
For Steph, not that great, right? I think that this will be fine for him. I think the second half of the season, they're ranked second in the West. He will be okay. But still, according to the odds, I like that bet because Steph Curry, he has a tendency to turn it up a little bit in the second half of the season. That's number 6.
Number 5.
I'm putting some respect on his name. This team started off 9-10 to start the season. Then they won their next 10 of 11. Now, look, they were 41-19. Yes, the Memphis Grizzlies are third place in the Western Conference, and we have to put some respect on Ja Morant's name. He is one of the electrifying guards in the league. Third-year guard, averaging career highs across the board. And the way he attacks the rim, the way he can finish around the rim, the body control, the relentlessness, the reckless abandon in which he attacks it, and he's working on that jump shot, guys. I'm trying to tell you, Ja Morant is an absolute star, and his name is in the conversation for the first time to be in the MVP. That's number 5.
Number 4.
Let's go, Shot City, Shot Town. Put some respect on DeMar DeRozan's name. This is a guy that went 3 straight seasons without being an all-star. He's one of the hottest players in the league right now, averaging 28 points per game. No player has scored more points in the fourth quarter than DeMar DeRozan this season. It's the first time the Bulls have a share of first place in the East at the All-Star break since 96-97 season. This is the same team last year with Zach LaVine that was okay. Even if you add Vucevic, with the addition of DeMar DeRozan, this team is one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and an actual title contender. That's number 4.
Number 3.
You heard Big Perk talking about this. Giannis. 2 nights ago, guys, he had 50 points against the Pacers. Now, he dropped off a little bit, and I hear what Big Perk is saying. He is one of the most dominant players to play this game. I have called him a skinny version of Shaquille O'Neal, but my man has added the jump shot. Each year, he is getting better and better. And if you watched him last night, he made a multitude of threes. He's hitting step-back shots. He's hitting fadeaway shots. The addition of the jump shot to his game, a guy that was Finals MVP last year, is something scary. But what does that say about the top 2? If I'm saying Giannis is 3 and the top 2 are a little bit far away in the MVP voting list. Let's go to number 2.
Number 2.
Our boy, our producer, Evan Wilner, has nicknamed Jokic the Eggman. Key and I have talked about it. When you see Joel Embiid move, he leans. It seems like there's a rhythm. Jokic doesn't really do things that way. It might look a little bit clunky, but what he's doing this year is stupid. We're talking about the reigning MVP from last year, and I know that that's polarizing. I know people didn't want to see Jokic win the MVP because it didn't look sexy. But come on, man. What he's doing, and let me just put it into perspective. I'm not even going to give you numbers. He does not have Michael Porter Jr. on this team, a top 3 leading scorer on their team. He does not have Jamal Murray on his team. If you remember a couple of years ago, when they were down 3-1 against the Clippers, he went off, had 50-point games in the bubble, in the playoffs. He doesn't have those 2 players on his team, and they're ranked 6th in the Western Conference. You want to know who has his complete team until 2 nights ago when AD got hurt? LeBron James. LeBron James with Russell Westbrook and AD. And guess what? They're ranked 9th in the Western Conference. If that doesn't put it into perspective for you, what Jokic is doing to keep his team in contention, I don't know what else will. That's number 2.
Number 1.
He, in my opinion, is the best player in basketball. He, in my opinion, when he's on the court, is the best big to ever play the game due to his skill set. The most complete player and most complete big I think the game is on the verge of seeing. Most complete big. The passing is at a career high this year. The defense is something he's taken up to a different notch. The scoring ability, you want it at the pinch post, you want it with my back against the basket, You wanted me to face up at the top of the key? You want to see me dance and hit you with a Hakeem Olajuwon shimmy into a Kobe fadeaway? I have it all. And the thing I love about Joel Embiid the most, who is leading the league in scoring right now, is you don't hear all the silliness this year. You don't hear the immaturity that we've heard in years past. You hear a guy that, even though dealing with all the Ben Simmons drama, put his head down and just went to work. Third place in the Eastern Conference right now. And he is boogieing on people. He is putting in work on people. Now, look, I think that Joel Embiid can lose some of the luster a little bit this year with the addition of James Harden because the ball will be taken out of his hands. But as of right now, look, I don't think the game of basketball has seen a player the way Joel Embiid has been playing right now. And that is my top 6 for MVP votes.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Jay, missing anyone, Key?
Well, I was, and he may have a explanation as to why Kevin Durant isn't on there or LeBron James as the most dominant players in the NBA. This is not about the MVP. It's about dominant players in the NBA. And so I would like to call Mr. Jay Williams to the stand to explain to Mr. Johnson how those two individuals are left off of his top 6.
So I don't look at LeBron James as a regular season player anymore, even though he's having an MVP type of year, right? I look at LeBron James as one of the top 2 greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. But I this year has been funky for me, and I think he's dominant. I just think what DeMar DeRozan has been able to do, what Ja Morant has been able to do with their teams and elevating their teams, I just don't know if I see that for LeBron James right now, considering they're 9th in the Western Conference.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.